Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Babylon 5. This is season 4, episode number 16. This episode is called Exercise of Vital Powers. Of the last few episodes, we've seen a lot of battles going on. Not only like the end of the Shadow War, the ongoing struggles that we ended up having with the Vorlons as well as part of that Shadow War. We've also seen like other battles occurring. So we have kind of Lita in her struggles and her battles to kind of find where she belongs. And we've got her trying to find work. Then we've got Michael with his own personal battles. Like, we don't really know what happened to him when he went away. We just know that he was held in a cell with possibly someone wearing a Psycho badge. He's getting these random messages. He's now working for the husband of his ex-girlfriend. We saw him leave to go to Mars. We've got John, who's just kind of struggling with what's going on with Earth. Like, he thinks his dad's possibly missing, something's maybe happened to his dad, and we've seen that he kind of slightly sometimes can go off the rails when Delenn isn't around. And then we've got Delenn and Linnea dealing with their own battles in terms of what's happened with Naroon, the Civil War, and Minbar. So even though like the Shadow Wars ended, we've still got all of these offshoots of people's own personal battles that they're dealing with, and it's going to culminate at some point. And we've also seen like the battle the guys went through in order to free Proxima from Clark's clutches. They want to do the same with other colony worlds. They want to do that with Mars, and then ultimately John was saying we'll hit Earth last, I guess. And this may take 10 because I feel like the closer we get to Earth, the more danger we're going to face. So I'm looking forward to watching this. Let's go.
The Liberation Fleet continues to retake territory held in violation of the Earth Alliance Constitution. More ships on the other side continue to defect, carrying stories of atrocities carried out under the direct orders of President Clark.
Shit.
In addition to the liberation of Proxima 3, the colony at Beta Durrani and the mid-range military base have also been freed.
Oh.
The long march toward Earth continues.
Oh.
It's almost time. You have to put this on now.
I think you've been watching too many spy vids.
Want to see the big guy? You gotta play by the big guy's rules. I'm really sorry.
He's very secretive, isn't he? Like this.
You're the type of guy who doesn't like to give up
Edgar's.
control. I can see that. But it's either this,
or not at all,
or I put you on the next transport out.
Patient life signs stabilizing, returning to nominal.
Oh.
Hey, look, Doc.
Zip. Shadow implants have defense systems on top of defense systems.
Shit. It's like two-factor verification.
I tried going in surgically from unaffected parts of the brain. I tried freezing it off. I can't even move one of the epidermal implants aside without it trying to kill the patient.
Well, we know they wanted to use the telepaths for their ships. Guess once they got you, they didn't want to let you go.
Can't even bring in the heavy scanners. Everything has to be isolated off the primary computer systems because when they wake up, they bond instantly to any computer system nearby.
We saw
They're
that.
Immediately hostile.
With Carolyn.
I can't take the risk, not after what happened the last time.
Ivanova said you were looking for me?
Oh, Lita, yeah. We got a guy in Med Lab 4 who was mugging down below. The victim's pretty shook up, doesn't remember much of what happened. We need confirmation that this is the guy who did it.
I can't scan a suspect in a criminal investigation. Zach, you know that. It's a violation of due process.
Relax. It's the victim who wants to be scanned.
Lita.
50 cc's until she's stable, and then I'll come by and I'll...
Oh God, what? Oh shit!
You insisted on seeing me now.
Why?
Why?
Somebody's got to stop Sheridan's war against Earth.
I'm just a businessman, Mr. Garibaldi.
My respect for Michael is starting to go down a little bit.
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. It's just much too big.
Well, I could change that if,
No, that's all right. Please don't inconvenience yourself on my behalf. All right, when do we get to see Eggers again?
when he sends for you.
Which is when?
Which is 5 minutes after he sends for me to send for you.
I am sorry I messed up your experiment. Whatever you were doing back there.
Is that why you ran off like that?
It wasn't an experiment.
No, you didn't mess anything up. You got a reaction out of one of my patients. For those few seconds, he was conscious and responding without being a danger to himself or to others.
Yes.
I'd like to know how you did it.
I was just looking at him, and
He woke
I
up.
heard a sound in my head.
What kind of sound?
It sounded like the scream a shadow vessel makes when it goes by.
You know, Lita was wanting to kind of be more involved with things, but now she seems reluctant.
Help! Come on! What's going on? Let me go! Let me go!
Oh, shit.
Don't be concerned, Mr. Garibaldi. Everything's fine.
Is it because he
You're in
touched
no imminent
stuff?
danger.
Yeah, thanks for the reassurance. So who's she? What's she doing here?
She is a telepath, Mr. Garibaldi.
He leaves
she
me in
knows
the
nothing
place.
of our situation here or our discussion. I have hired her for a surface scan only. She will not probe deeply.
So he knows
Do
whether or
know
not he
the
can
context
trust him.
of our discussion. She will only tell me if you are telling the truth.
So why the muscle?
So you'd have no time to prepare mentally. I want your heart rate fast, your thoughts jumbled. To guard against any blocks or attempts to mislead us. I want you to tell me what you think about telepaths.
He hates them.
Feel free to be honest, Mr. Garibaldi. Her job is to report, not to be offended by your opinions.
I don't trust them.
What do you want
Oh,
me to do?
God.
Well, do
No
whatever
evidence.
you did the first time, just do it more slowly.
So things... Oh,
Be able
shit.
to monitor any changes in his brainwaves caused by direct contact with your thoughts. With any luck, this will help me find a way to stimulate those same brainwaves artificially. Build a kind of a feedback loop. If it works, at least we'll be able to communicate with him. All right, I'm getting a 10% increase in brainwave activity.
Oh. I think they're talking to each other.
All right, 15% increase in respiration and heartbeat. Ease up a little. Interesting. Every time you push telepathically, it slows down the production of acetylcholine. The implants may be stimulating the production of brain accelerants, making it work faster.
Oh.
Which is necessary if you've been turned into the central processing center of a shadow vessel.
Yes.
But without control or direction, the brain functions become erratic or distorted. They start casting about, looking for something to do. And when it doesn't find it, it starts tearing itself apart and anything nearby.
Sure, right?
Getting a 10%. Oh!
You're safe. No one's gonna hurt you.
What am I?
Clark wants complete and total loyalty. When he was vice president, he instituted loyalty tests. But
Wow.
you can fool a test. You can't fool a telepath. So he started bringing them into the process. President Santiago objected, but he made the mistake of underestimating the opposition. Clark wanted power.
Which is how the
I don't have a
telepaths,
problem with that.
like Carolyn,
No one but a fool ever walked away from
of them
real
being
power.
given to the shadows.
But he began taking unacceptable risks. He eliminated Santiago with outside help. I don't know the full story. Only that there were aliens involved. And they promised him all the power he could want.
They
But he
did
wanted
that.
an ace or two up his sleeve.
He knew they were interested in the Psi Corps. And if they were interested, then he was interested.
Shit.
They were his insurance policy against the aliens and his means for gaining more power.
Do you reckon Clark told
Created
the
the Night
shadows
Watch.
that those people
Started
were
putting his people
telepaths?
into important positions with telepaths alongside for security.
Bloody
It gave
hell.
them unprecedented authority. And if you think they'll let go of that power once he's gone, you're gravely mistaken.
Is that the whole truth?
It's as close to the truth as you or anyone else will ever get, Mr. Garibaldi. But it should be enough for you
I
to
don't trust
decide
this
if
guy
you
at
can
all.
trust me the way I now trust you. Once you decide you're in, all the way, I'll tell you the rest. We're going to change the world, Mr. Garibaldi.
I just start to worry when things are going too well.
Yes.
Any word from Delenn?
She finished her work on Minbar. She's heading back here. She should be arriving in a couple of days.
Oh.
Anything else?
Nope. All quiet on the Epsilon front. Is there anything else you want me to do from this end?
Yeah, transfer me over to Stephen. I want to see how he's doing with the telepaths. Stephen, I've asked some hard things of you in the past. This may be the hardest of all. I don't think you're going to like it.
I don't know if I'm going to like it.
We don't have much choice.
I have a long-term job for you. You available? Good. Start packing. We'll leave in a few days as soon as I take care of everything.
Where are we going?
Mars. Better not be Mars.
Mars.
Give me Sheridan. Let me turn him over to President Clark. Do that and I'll tell you the rest.
I'll turn him over to you. I won't turn him over to Clark. He'd be killed in...
Not before he can be formally charged.
Shit.
Clark's an amateur, not a fool. He'll want to go through the motions of a hearing.
But the guard on Babylon 5 knows that Michael left. So he just suddenly appears again?
I know. It's why we approached you in the first place.
You get to Sheridan through his father.
Nobody knows where he is.
He went missing.
Clark's people have been turning Earth upside down and haven't been able to find him.
Well, they can't. But I can. It has to be done. I hope you can see that someday.
This was insightful. I was surprised we actually met Edgar's. I thought it'd be a while before we did. And to see that he's running some kind of tests, he's talking about taking people off the injections, the medication, and we're seeing that it's affecting them, it's killing them basically. I don't know if those people were, as they would say, normals, or if those people were telepaths, because Edgar's, like Michael, seems to have a distaste for telepaths. And we saw how Edgar's had put Michael through that test and he passed the first part, but he didn't pass the part about still being in love with Lise, which I think is probably going to go against him significantly. I do not trust Edgar's at all, knowing he's basically in alliance with other big business people, other pharmaceutical people, and they, you know, were doing a lot of things for Clark. And then when Clark realised the importance of the telepaths, that makes me think, oh, well, that'll be why he then kept them in his back pocket in terms of giving those telepaths to the Shadows. And it makes me wonder, actually, if Clark had been kind of on this trajectory for a while before we even kind of started season 1. Like, I'm just wondering, are some of those things he was doing alongside the pharmaceutical companies and the Psi Corps and his kind of alliance with the Psi Corps early on that Santiago was, you know, kind of against, was that the whole process? Was he involved? Was Clark involved in the whole process of what possibly happened to Talia, and by extension was Edgar's involved in that as well? That was an interesting thought that went through my mind, knowing that, you know, they're talking about maybe Edgar's becoming more powerful, becoming the next figure in charge, and Michael saying the only way really that could maybe happen is if they stopped John and they slowed John down so that they could have more time to put their own plans in place, for it then to just completely switch and Edgar's be like, you need to give me John. And the way that we can give him John, as Garibaldi said, is through his dad. They can trace his dad. My disappointment in Michael was kind of occurring a little bit prior to this, but I'm actually really hurt and angry that this is kind of the things that he's doing. I know he's not quite right and that something was done to him, but we've not seen fully what that was. And he even said at the end, his head is blank. He doesn't feel anything. He doesn't really know what he's doing anymore. And I'm just sat here thinking, you're basically selling out everybody on Babylon 5. It's just, I'm just disappointed in him. Majorly disappointed in him. And I don't really know how to feel about that. Whilst that's going on, we've got John flying through space with all of these people who've defected in the non-aligned worlds. We've got Stephen trying to figure out how to help those telepaths affected by the shadow attack. And Lita seems to be the key, and they may have found a way of helping them. But then John has asked Stephen to do something, yet we don't really know what that is yet. And now Stephen and Lita are off to Mars. And I'm worried that everybody is starting to go to Mars, because we know Mars isn't, you know, the most civil place. There's a resistance there. We know there's been Mars riots, there's been bombings. We saw what Earth's forces did to Mars when they tried to not enforce martial law. Delen's coming back. So I think Delen's just going to return to a shit show, because, you know, it's just, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. I'm going to sign off and say thank you, and I will see you guys later. So thank you.